Well, welcome everyone to our gathering, to our ponderings. Um, I'm the host today, Chelsea, here along with Barbara and Mary. And the topic today is about friendliness. And I recently uh, traveled over to Switzerland to attend a program, mentoring type program for reconnective healing. And um, I just was wondering if this might make a good topic. Mary also recently has done quite a lot of traveling, and we 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 each come from our own hometowns, our own home cities, and there's a certain amount of friendliness amongst, strangers on the street or grocery store or whatever. And then I guess I was a little surprised in Switzerland that um, the I I kind of was disappointed in myself that it wasn't much more of a friendly country, just total strangers. And I got to thinking, you know, um, about the word friendliness. It's so connected here in America with, friends. But friendliness is so much different. And I wondered how it is in other countries. Like for you, Anka, with your native language, if friendliness is connected to the same word friends, but friendliness is so much different than just friends. It's more just kind of your public persona and eye contact or smiling. And um, I wondered if it has more to do with I traveled on the train from the airport to a different city, which was a couple-hour ride. And I think there's something about public transportation that maybe gets you a little bit immune to even offering a smile or a glance at just anybody and everybody. But um, uh, I think as I was thinking about this morning, that my kind of disappointment on the level of friendliness of everyone was probably leading to just too much judgment on my part and not really just living in the moment. And I'm glad Cecilia's here today because I I I, I wonder what her view on this is. I do know that Cecilia is a very friendly person out in public. She smiles, and but it has being friendly ultimately has to not really be done with, a reward attached, or that you want friendliness back. I think I just really need to settle into just accepting of what of things how things are in the present moment, and um kind of feel tongue tied about it all at this moment. But go ahead, Cecilia.
Well, I know Mary we did at the same time. Mary, you're up, and then I'll go after you.
Okay, well, I had a similar situation to Chelsea's when I was in France, in particular. I found that England was much the same as we are here. You know, people smile at each other on the street and chit chat. But in France, people were much more reserved, and they didn't really even make eye contact on the street. And I was there to see if I wanted to move there and to live there. So I wanted to make connections. And one way I learned to do that was to have a purpose for the connection. And I learned to say, may I take a picture of your dog? Um, And that opened people up immediately. They were so pleased that I loved their dog. And we would talk about how beautiful the dog was and how smart it was. And often they were, frankly, ugly little dogs. But they loved their dog. And that made a connection. And I started thinking about how in the US we'll say, "Oh, hi, how are you?" when I may not even really want to know. Even though we're friendly, we don't possibly even really want the connection. It's just a sort of a pro forma attitude, or I guess a tradition we have of how we greet each other. And you say, "I'm fine," but you may not be fine. So anyway, it's just
Yeah.
a couple things. Cecilia?
Well, I love traveling and I love meeting new people. And I look for the best in people. And my sisters had gone on this 3 month European backpacking, hostel kind of a hike thing, whatever, right out of after they both had graduated from high school. And they went all over the place. And they had quite an adventure. And by the end of it, my little sister, she was like, "I'm ready to come home. I need to come home now." My other sister wanted to stay there another month or so. She's like, "Nope, nope, it's on. We're done." So, um, and they were telling us about the experiences, and they were, telling the challenges and whatever that they'd had. And so I hadn't been to Europe, and so I had a group of friends who wanted to go, and we just went for 10, 12 days. And we went to London, and we took the ferry over to Paris, and then we took the train to Belgium and Netherlands, and then home. Um, and so that was my first trip, and that was when we had to use American Express travelers checks, and there was no such thing as a ATM card way back then. And so it was a very different experience. And so I'd heard the stories that my sisters told, and the challenges that they had, and the language differences, and the people in France don't look at you, they don't talk to you, it's like, "Oh, you don't speak English," kind of thing. And I have to say my experience was completely different. I found beautiful people everywhere. And when we landed in France, um immediately we're looking for, where do we change our money? Where do we do this and stuff? And somebody just looked at me and like going, "This way, here you go." And he took me, and he basically almost took me by the hand to go help me find the where you change the money, and this is it, and where do you want to go? It's like, "Oh, it's this way." And they gave me directions, and every place I went in, everywhere, they were so friendly, they were thoughtful, they were, I took pleasure in the little things and the magic of it. It's like they have pink toilet paper in France. They have whatever they have. They have. I was magical. I was mesmerized by the joy of the new, of what this new culture did and stuff. And even in Amsterdam, when it's like nowhere you could walk without stepping in dog poop. It's like it's okay. You just watch where you're going now. It's like I just found the joy of it all, and I encountered the most beautiful people. We had such a great time. And so when you look for the joy and you look for the magic of it, you find it, and they find you. Because I didn't go searching for can you help me to the cash machine? I was like flowing, And I thought in my mind, where is it? Where is it? Like, what are you looking for? It was like, "I need to change the money." It's like, "Come this way." And he took me. So I think it's within you to find the magic, and the people who are looking for your magic are going to find you and play with you, is what I think. So anyway, that's what I have to say.
Yeah. I'll get right with you, Gino. I just wanted to say, I, 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 I visited Lugano, Switzerland, and it's really close to Italy, but it was a really interesting place to visit because I think it was not really touristy. It was just kind of like you were kind of joining into just a neighborhood of people. And I have to say, I was with two other Americans, and I did notice how we were just a little bit out of the norm in the way we did things. I think by the end I realized, it was only the Americans that were standing up and ordering their coffee at the register where maybe everyone else would just sit down and just casually wait. But I did notice one thing, that because we did quite a few things repeatedly, like we took ferry boat rides,
Mhm.
which is just kind of like public transportation. And the second time we met someone, it was different. And that those people that had just encountered us as kind of touristy Americans in this just everyday town, that's when the light bulb kind of turned back on, when
Yeah.
they met us the second time or the third time, or we ordered coffee the fifth time. And it was just interesting in that way.
I think you hit on it something very important because they are there to enjoy the day, the moment. And we Americans, I need my coffee, I need to do this, I got this to do, and I've got a itinerary, and I'm going to get everything checked off. Da, da, da. We're in such a hurry. We're not in the moment. We're not enjoying being where we are. And so I think that takes that's a huge factor in it. I'm going to share one more story because when I worked at Universal Studios Hollywood, and they were opening um, uh, their park in Osaka, I was chosen on the team to go to help them open. So I was in Osaka, and yeah, I lived in Osaka for 3 months to help them open this park. And they gave us a cultural training on this, because we are very different Americans, as you know, from the cultures in Japan. It's very formal, it's very traditional, it's very respectful. Oh my gosh, the respect of Japan is amazing. And I take that training everywhere I go. And it's the most important, beautiful thing to show respect. And their whole thing is, if the if everyone in the group is not happy, then we have to make them be happy, or help them be happy, or listen to them and hear their concerns. And as long as they can share and be heard, it's so beautiful. My favorite thing was the never ending apology. And this is important. I'm going to tell everybody about the never ending apology because I use it still to this day. It's really beautiful. The thing about their culture is you don't make them wrong. If they say, I'm so sorry I didn't get this right, you don't say, well, don't worry, we'll get it right next time, or we'll take care of it. You've just made them wrong. Like, no, 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 no. You say, no, 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 I'm sorry that I didn't take the time. I didn't realize we didn't have this component, or I didn't realize we needed another couple people to help interact and play this out so we could understand it more fully. I didn't understand. You take the blames. No, I'm sorry that I didn't give this forethought. It's like they apologize back. Like, I'm sorry. No, 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 no. I'm sorry. It was my responsibility to make this happen. And it's like a never ending apology. But at the same time, you don't make them wrong. But I just remember on the trains, took the trains to work and back every day. Um, there was such respect, and there were kids dressed in their, um, you know, you know, wild clothes or whatever. And you'd think that in any other culture, you'd think, well, they're the ones that tough, that you don't be careful about those guys. But as soon as somebody who was handicapped or elderly or whatever came on the train, they got up and gave them their chairs, and nothing was said. It was like, here, 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 take it. It's like they were so beautiful and so respectful. But the thing is, you don't make eye contact because you're intruding on their space. However, there was one train ride, I'll tell you, it was beautiful. I get on the train and I'm looking around for a seat, and this one Japanese man is looking right at me. It's like, that's different. That doesn't happen. And so he has a seat next to him, and he opens up and invites me to sit down. It's like, huh, already twice, two things that don't happen. So I take the seat next to him, and he's just smiling at me, and he just looks at me, and he goes, are you American? Yes, I'm here for a few months. And he goes, oh, very nice, very nice. And we talk a little bit, and then he goes, I'm going to die soon. It's like, oh. And he's smiling and he's happy, and he's carrying this manila folder, with him, and he goes, I'm just getting my lab work back, and I found out that I've got cancer and I'm going to die soon. And he was so smiley and happy. And he goes, and I'm fine with it. I have had a full life. I have traveled everywhere. I have met so many people, and I am really happy that this is the way it's going to happen. It's like, well, I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you're feeling so good about this. But it was like, I'm going to die soon. And he was happy. It's like, okay, how can you not be happy for him when he is so happy? And it was like, I would never have got that invitation to be part of that conversation if I didn't respond to his invitation to come sit down. Hi, come sit down. Very out of the ordinary, but it was like so beautiful. I got to be part of that. I was like, anyways, I just wanted to share that. Thank you. Okay.
I'm just going to jump in real quickly, Gino, because I know you've been waiting. I just wanted to respond to Cecilia's comment about the gentleman who uh, kind of worked out of order and kind of did things out of their cultural norm. And I wonder if, of course, I don't know, but I just wonder if the fact that he got his lab results and know he's going to die soon kind of pushed him a little bit to step out of his box. But that's all I'm going to say. I think it's time for Gina to share. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I used the same formula that Cecilia used with her trip. And I went to Paris about 15 years ago. I had studied a tiny bit of French in high school, but it was long gone, other than merci, something like that. And I told, my friends and everything, I was going to Paris for a whole week. I had dreamed always of going to Paris. I loved how their language sound. Everything about them I loved. And everyone told me they are so rude over there. They hate Americans, And then somebody said, well, if you don't walk around like you're entitled, maybe, they'll be nice to you. Okay. So I said, yeah. And I says, I'll take some of the qualities of my mom and be very charming and smile and connective. So I went, and I'll tell you, without speaking hardly any French at all, everybody was so kind to me and so nice and helpful and knew when I was struggling, they were right there for me. It was almost like a family, and it made the trip so much easier. So, yeah, so there's that. Um, oh, and then this doesn't have anything to do with the conversation except for the French part. It's a song by Joni Mitchell that said, in France, they kiss on Main Street, not cheap display. Okay, there you go. Did you get that, what that meant? That didn't hit. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next point. Okay. Um, and this morning, though, I had a very real situation with friendliness. And I was walking a couple of blocks to the car mechanic, and I saw this couple, a man and a woman, sitting on this like a divider from the parking lot and the sidewalk, and I had never seen anybody sit there before. I would say they were probably in their 60s. They each had a cup of coffee in their hands. They were not, really well dressed, but I knew they weren't homeless. But they were also either from maybe Mexico or South America or something. But they had that kind of look of that my mind said, I wonder if they're illegal immigrants because that's in the news everywhere right now. And I started feeling, oh my God, I hope they're okay, right? So as I was approaching them, they kept like looking at me and then looking away. And then when I got close, I looked right at them and I gave them a big smile and I said, good morning. And they just seemed so delighted by that smile and good morning. It's almost like they weren't getting that. Maybe if my story is true, they needed what I had in Paris, you know? So it works with everyone, really. That works very well. Yeah, that's my story.
Thanks, Gino. Just one moment, Mary, before we go to you. I just wanted to read what Anka put in the chat. She says, I always feel the difference between somebody from Romania and a tourist without them saying or present, without them saying anything. I assume she means, they are different vibrationally. And that's just, thanks, Anka. Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, I was going to go back to what you said at the beginning, the notion of friendliness versus friend. And there's an open and closed aspect to it. When you're friends with somebody, it's a relationship. It's kind of tight, it's close. But when you're friendly, it's open and accepting and bringing in instead of holding close. And I think we need a different word because friendliness doesn't quite convey the same thing as an established friendship. I don't know if that's true or not, but in France, I had been watching YouTubes about, how to be polite in France. What is the expected behavior? And it became clear that, like, if an American walks into a store, the first thing I say is, I'm looking for this. I need help finding this, instead of saying hello. And in France, you walk anywhere you go, you start by saying bonjour, and it opens like an equality between you. They are not your servant. As you know, we treat people in stores as if they're working for us. And I think that's a little bit of a difference that I've noticed. And I think that can translate into any situation where you meet people on the street and you try to convey either through words or vibration that we're the same. Um, I It's like the namaste, the divine in me greets the divine in you. I think that's kind of key to this conversation.
I think that hits a lot of the main points because it you, when you are out and you give a smile, it's nice to receive one, and it's kind of like I see you and value you, and thanks for seeing and valuing me, kind of like a mirror. When it comes to the difference between, for the word friendliness and how we need a new word, Anka suggests like social ability, or social, the ability to be social, or
Mhm.
yeah. Go ahead, Billy.
Um, yeah, I'm thinking about some of the comments that I've heard here, and I haven't had the international travel. If I do, I'm going to research it a little bit because I've learned something. But here, especially with some of the hostility that we hear all the time, I am consciously making an extra effort to exude good energy out in the world. I mean, I don't even think about it most of the time. Holding the door at the store or taking the grocery cart, smiling, saying hello, because our energy emits like that. Um, and I love giving random compliments. Oh my gosh, to see people light up, it's, oh, I love your sweater or whatever it is. Um, I made comments in the produce section the other day. It was wonderful. And I was in Dollar Tree yesterday, of all places. And so I walk in and start looking and got my little checklist in my head. And the cashier was so sweet to every customer. It was amazing. It's like, if you have any problem with this, you can bring it back. You can bring it back. And just acknowledged every single person she was helping. Well, I wasn't anywhere near her or whatever, but when I left, she was leaving her cash register to do something. And I got her attention and I just said, you are so sweet. It was amazing to go in and experience that. And another thing that I like to do, that's really helpful to me, that opens people up, is if, like, you're in a store and you need to know where the hammers are or whatever, you have a question. And so if you walk up to the employee and you say, I have a question, boom, you have their attention, and they're right there to serve you. Because I believe that we really do want to help people. So that's what I try to do to make the world a better place.
Yeah. Well, we're getting towards the end. Does anybody else would like to contribute? Um, well, when it comes to friendliness, I also had this weird thought, like I feel like what does like if I was like a white blood cell in my own vein, like I wonder if like white blood cells are rude, or do they say hi to the platelets, you know? I just wonder how that goes. And I bet I kind of answered myself inside my head. I think it is more of an energetic thing, even before we talk, that a lot of it's just, I think we also have a lot of body language that people read that we don't realize, but I think there's a lot of communication going on.
I
As,
think
as I like to say, energy is contagious.
Mhm.
um
Chelsea, do you ever say hi to the platelets behind you? Sorry.
I think they say hello and I think they greet each other and I think they know that I'm going to do this and you're going to do that and we're just going to, pass by. I think that's the way they do it. Um, I don't know if you've heard of this animal interspecies communicator, Anna Breitenbach. She's the one, if you saw the YouTube about the Black Panther, the black leopard that was anyways, there's a YouTube about Anna Breitenbach and the black leopard spirit. Um, um, Look at that. It's beautiful. But I'm going to share a different story. The story is that she is interspecies because she also talks to the plants and the animals, besides the animals, and the non-human animals, because we're animals also. But one of the things she was called to do was to talk to this grove of trees because they were dropping their crowns. All of a sudden, they just started to drop their crowns, and it's like, what's going on with this forest? We don't understand. Why are they're killing themselves, whatever. And she had gone into the harmony of the trees, and she said um, that there was something poisonous in near the roots, and the bunnies were eating it. And we wanted to protect our bunny friends, and so we dropped our crowns so that they couldn't eat what was on their roots. So they were protecting the bunnies by doing this, and we're okay. Don't worry about us. We're fine, But we just needed to take care of the bunnies, and so that's why we did it. And so there's a reason for everything. Those red platelets and white platelets, they're going to do their thing, but they've got to do what they got to do.
Yeah, and Renee, just on the same vein of the white blood cell swimming through the body, Renee puts in the chat, all of the cells are part of one body. A friend is a single cell dwelling in one body. And we're going to go to Louis Treese. I think she has something to say, but to segue to her, I will just wanted to share that I often when I'm on Zoom, I'm not really talking to my plates, but I do have a tree right out my window here and a tree right out my window here. And for the longest time recently, I've had this plant right in front of me. So I do have this plant's named Norma Jean, but it's been right here in the middle of the table. So those are my friends that I talk to, and I know Louis Treese appreciates that. Did you have something to say, Louis Treese? Go ahead. Close us out.
Okay. We were talking about interactions and communication between people when you are walking and how they respond to you and interaction. Now, how did you receive me tonight? I didn't say a word. Do you think I was part of your conversation and lively and enjoy your company? Or did you think I was sullen and what? Because that is reading energy, even if a person is not communicating. So yeah, that is also a very big thing, is reading the energy that is coming from another person. And Mary, you're very naughty. to tell the people their doggies is beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do look at the doggies with different eyes. They are angels in their eyes. I can't believe they had light up when you tell them, oh, it's such a lovely doggy. But yeah, all I want to say is interaction is extremely important in your daily life. And if you reach out, you can reach so many people, and by that you enrich your own life. But yeah, I was just wondering, how do you perceive me by sitting dead quiet and listening to everybody? And
Well,
yet I was completely part of you
I
all.
personally didn't get any. I didn't get any. I got the vibes I got were just normal, everyday. Louis Treese is here. She's happy to be here vibes, and I assume they were true.
Yeah, that is very true. And especially to see you light up when you were talking about your trees and your Fittonia plant. That is so wonderful because please replay this video and see how you have light up. It is amazing, really. Thank you. It was a very interesting topic tonight. And yeah, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome, and thank you all for being here. And we wouldn't have this great conversation without each and every one of you. And we're gonna wrap it up. And love you all.
Love you.
Bye bye. See you
Love
next
you
time.
all.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks.